For each expression for number 7, we're asked to simplify this completely. So for part A, if I look at my denominator, there's a root, and we know that we can't have root in the denominator. So we're going to open up parentheses, and our goal is to get rid of the root in the denominator. So the denominator needs to be a whole number. And the easiest way to choose what you're going to multiply by is just by looking at the denominator, root 2. So we're going to multiply the top and bottom by root 2. This is called rationalizing. We didn't change the expression at all because really we're multiplying by 1, because root 2 over root 2 simplifies as 1. So when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. So 3 times root 2, remember 3 is rational, root 2 is irrational, so you can't combine them, you just write them next to each other. So 3 root 2. And then my denominator, a root times itself, is just the radicand inside, but I'm going to go slower. To multiply roots, use one root symbol, and you put the product of the radicands inside, which is 4, and the square root of 4 is just 2, so that's why we can kind of skip that step and just say the number inside, which is a 2, is going to be our denominator. So it's 3 root 2 over 2. This is completely simplified because the 2 is prime, and 3 halves, 3 and 2 don't have any common factor, so 3 root 2 over 2 is completely simplified. Okay, for part B. You could jump into directly into rationalizing, multiply the top and bottom by root 15, or because they're both roots, you can only do this if they're both roots, we can actually divide the inside numbers by a common factor of 3. So when I rewrite my expression here, the root does not disappear in the numerator and denominator because you're only modifying the inside number. So my new inside number of my numerator is 3 divided by 3, which is 1. And the new inside number 15 divided by 3 is 5. We can actually take the square root of 1, which is just 1, and the denominator stays the same because we can't simplify root 5. But kind of looking at part A, you can't have a root in the denominator, so we still need to rationalize. So we're going to open up parentheses and multiply the top and bottom by the denominator, root 5. Again, we didn't change anything because root 5 over 5 is 1. So when I multiply straight across, 1 times root 5 is just root 5, or you could put the 1 in front, that's fine. And then a root times itself in the denominator is really the square root of 25, which we said we could skip that step hopefully, because the square root of 25 is 5. In other words, a root times itself is just the number on the inside. And be very careful, you cannot reduce the two 5s here in the numerator and denominator because one's a root, one's a whole number. So that's completely simplified.